Three semi-finals, three losses, trophyless season, third in the league. Three is the magic number for Manchester United. 33 shots we've had in the 2 Europa League games since lockdown. And we scored 2 penalties. 2 penalties. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. In the previous game against Copenhagen, I understand some of the frustration with Solskjaer's tactics, choices in terms of players. We didn't really get going until late into the game and into extra time, really. But in this game, we had over 20 chances, 20 shots, and scored 1 penalty in the 8th minute. That's not good enough. That is not good enough. And anyone that's coming to blame Ole Gunnar Solskjaer today, for me, is someone that either didn't watch the match or has an agenda. The players are at fault for what happened out there today. The players, and only the players, have themselves to blame. There's an argument that, oh yeah, we could have made some substitutions, but these are the same players who've been cussing all season. The likes of Mata, Lingard, Pereira. He could have, of course he could have. But the players who are out there, the 11 players that we started with, they cost us that game today. And only them, they cost us that game today. Rashford in the first half, poor, had so many openings, opportunities to create something, get a shot himself, didn't take them. Second half, Martial, he had about 3 chances in about 3 minutes. 3 yards out. I told you 3 is the number today. 3 is the number. 3 chances, 3 minutes, 3 yards out, and Martial doesn't put any of them away. We had chance after chance, opening after opening, and we failed to put Sevilla to the sword. We should have been about 3-1 up after about 60 minutes. That's how dominant we were. I don't look at possession stats purely to say dominance. We were the team creating all the chances. In the second half, I'm sure Sevilla only had that 1 chance, but they were clinical. They were clinical. They took that chance. How many chances do we need? As I said, over 2 games, 33 shots. And all we did was score 2 penalties. Only scored 2 penalties. And the players have to take a long, hard look at themselves. But it's not just the attacking players. Because, granted, we had all the opportunities to score 2, to score 3, to score more. But at the back, to allow for the first goal, to allow that ball to come right across the 6-yard box. So obviously the cross beats Wan-Bissaka, who's got the man in the first place. Cool. Beats Maguire. Cool. He wasn't the near closest one to it. Beats Lindelof in the middle of the goal. And where's Brandon Williams? There's 4 defenders and the ball went across every single one of them to the back post. And Suso slots it in, 1-1. Cool. Knocked back. But again, we went forward, created all the chances, didn't put them away. And then in the second half, I don't know who created the chance, who put the cross in for the second goal. But Wan-Bissaka's marking De Jong. For some strange reason, he steps away. Is he trying to play offside? I'm confused. He steps away and allows De Jong a free rein at the ball. But worse than that, I'll say worse than that, equally as worse, is Lindelof. Lindelof has no awareness about who and what is around him. Is not in a position, like square on to where the ball's coming from, to actually do anything and clear the danger. And the ball comes across and it's a simple tap-in. Individual errors. Because as a team, we played well. We created all the chances. But if you're going to defend like that, and you're going to finish like we did, then you don't deserve. You don't deserve. He could have made earlier substitutions, of course. Could have brought on Lingard. Could have brought on Mata earlier. I think he should have brought on Igalo earlier for me. For Rashford, I would have done that. But with the players that were out there, we had enough. We had enough. And they are to blame. It's as simple as that. They are to blame tonight. And I'm sure they're going to blame themselves because they have to. There's only so much that a manager, a coach, a referee, you can't blame the referee. Can't blame the referee. The players have to look at themselves. I'm going to bring in Tom here. Listen, obviously yesterday we were on here talking about Manchester City failing to beat Lyon in the Champions League. And I know you said we might lose to Sevilla, and I said we have to get in early because, yes, we might lose to Sevilla, and we missed the opportunity to actually to celebrate, as rival fans do, what happened to Man City. But listen, that's a bad result.
Bad result.
How did we lose that game? What's the reason for that loss, in your opinion?
Mentality. That's just my opinion. 3 semi-finals in the season, and you've not got to a final. Are just unbelievable. Not 3, and you can't even get to 1. And it weren't games that we got, like, should we say, blown away in. Maybe you can, the first leg against Man City and the FA Cup game, but we were in the game for majority of that game. Today, we was in the game for 90 minutes until probably they scored. We was in the game. Honestly, just shocking. I don't get it. Like, is it like we're turning into Man City now? Man City can't get beyond the quarter-final in the Champions League. Is it now we can't get beyond the semi-final in any competition? Honestly, 4 years now, because you take today's game, 4 years since we won a trophy. 4 years since we won anything. Yeah, we've qualified for the Champions League. Yeah, that was the main probably aim this season, get back into the Champions League. But seriously, I think the message was clear. All he needs players. He needs new players. He needs signings. If tonight didn't show that, because he's bringing on all these players and everything really last minute. He's bringing all these players on, like, he didn't bring Mata or he didn't bring anybody in until pretty much right near the end, because he knows that's the best team. The team that he's put out, that's the best players. He's got nobody good enough to come off the bench really to impact a game. People can think that, such as Igalo, maybe bring him on a bit earlier. But Ollie's just not in that frame of mind. And I think it's because he needs new players.
Can you blame him for not trusting those players? Or should he...
100%. 100%. Because they've not performed under previous managers. Mata. Name me a season where Mata's actually had a good overall season. You can't name one. Since David Moyes signed him. And to now, how many years is that? I don't even know how many years that is.
2014, January 2014.
6 years.
Yeah.
6 years, and he's not even had a good season. Other players that we've got in the team as well. It's not just such as Mata. Other players, I just unbelievable. And all this hype on Bruno Fernandes has slowly just slumped, and he's suddenly become shite like we are now. Before he came to this football club, we were crap. Had nothing. He's come in, had a good couple of months and everything, got us into the Champions League. Now he's turning crap with us. There's too many crap players in this dressing room, seriously. I don't even know why he's played Lindelof. Lindelof had a good game, to be fair to him. He had an all right game.
Well, I don't know if he had an all right game.
He had an okay game. I wouldn't say it was like a masterclass from him.
No, but I would say that definitely the last goal and arguably the first goal, he could have and probably should have done better. Now, Wan-Bissaka for me leaves his man, which he shouldn't do. But the centre back, you can't be so fixed on the ball that you need to cover.
You need to cover your teammates. This is what I mean. There's no team, and it's like when the goal went in. Right, Nick. Right, I'll just ask you this now: who is the captain for Manchester United?
Maguire.
Right. Why the hell am I seeing Fernandes shouting at Lindelof to say, "You've just cost us this now"?
Yeah.
Why? And he's not even the captain. What is Maguire doing? show some sort of authority. If that's Jordan Henderson for Liverpool, if that's Vincent Kompany when he was at Man City, they've been giving him a rate bollocking. You've just cost us a trophy here. You've just cost us. You've just cost us winning something for the first time as a team. Shocking, honestly shocking. And I'm saying no, it's not the manager's fault, because if it's the manager's fault, how come he's This is as far as this team can go right now. A semi-final in Champions League. This is as far as it can go. Don't sign anybody. This is where Man United are now. Until they get some improvement, some new players in there. Quite clear, we need some defenders. We need a right winger. We need some defenders, and we need a couple more midfielders, probably.
Well, that's the thing. Because if you look at all the games, in the Champions League, for example, you're seeing a lot of late goals, substitutions making difference. If I'm correct, actually, De Jong came off the bench.
Yeah.
De Jong came off the bench and got the goal. Now, as Solskjaer could have and probably should have made earlier substitutions, but the lack of substitutions for me weren't the reason why we didn't win the game. It's because the players. It's not like before we made subs, we weren't creating any chances. Sevilla were dominating us, X, Y, Z, and he should have made changes. We were creating chances time and time again with the players on the pitch. Obviously, the issue was that the players on the pitch weren't having great games in front of goal, and obviously at the back in terms of for me, all the defenders. None of the defenders can walk off that pitch and say, "I had a good game." They had decent games at best, but all four of them have to take some responsibility for the 2 goals we conceded. I'm going to bring in Ramsey here now. Arsenal fan. I mean, you're one of the few English fans who've actually won a trophy this season. Liverpool with the Premier League, Man City with the Carabao Cup, if you can count that one, and Arsenal with the FA Cup. In terms of the game today, how did you see? Where did it go right for Sevilla and where did it go wrong for Man United?
I didn't watch the game in the full, so I was driving for some of it. But from what I did see and heard, sounds like the chances that United created the chances, but the goalkeeper had a great game, made some good saves, and then some sloppy defending at the end, really, in a game that. I mean, listen, this is Sevilla's trophy, and so you can't say it's a game United should be winning in terms of history of this competition, because Sevilla, they just know how to do it, innit? So it's not like that. But however, I feel like United are on the level to at least be competing in this kind of game and winning this kind of game. I predicted them to win the whole thing. So for them to go out in the semi-final, and we're looking at defensive errors and we're looking at chances not scoring enough goals, similar to the last leg to Copenhagen. Was it Copenhagen?
Yeah, Copenhagen.
Where he kind of scraped through.
Well, that's the thing. Because
he created enough chances and in the end got the goal. But this game, he created enough chances and didn't get the goal.
I said in the last game, in the first game, I said, if we play like that, we will lose. We lose the better side. We played better against Copenhagen, but we weren't clinical, and we won in extra time. And I said, if we're as wasteful as that, we're going to lose to a better side. And we were as wasteful in the 90 today as we were in the 120 against Copenhagen. And better sides punish you. And we're supposed to be going to the Champions League next year. Better sides. We've seen teams get punished.
Oh, we'll get blown away by teams like Bayern Munich and stuff.
We've seen teams get punished this week. So if we're going to go into games and missing chance after chance after chance, and I know Sevilla's a good side because they're in the Champions League next year as well, finishing the top 4 in La Liga. This is their competition. But these are gilded opportunities. Right at the end of the first half, for example, Rashford runs through, I think it's about maybe a 2-on-1, might be a 2-on-2, but he's got to do much better. Fluffs his lines, and the fluff is gone. Sevilla created maybe 3 opportunities all game, maybe, and they scored 2 goals. That's the difference between the 2 sides today.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I think with the it's okay to create a lot of chances, and it's okay, but yeah, there's 2 parts. There's obviously 2 parts of the story. There's one where United have been wasteful, and there's one where the goalkeeper had a good game. This game could have been 4 or 5 to United if the chances were put away. But for me, there's a lack of clinicalness, and it's obvious from the fact that Igalo came on in the 93rd minute, kind of shows to me that Oli had no other option but to trust. Even the other subs came on later on in the game. It's like he had no other choice but to just trust the team out there to do the job.
Is he wrong for that? Is he wrong? Does he have a reason to not trust them?
I think no, he can definitely trust them, but I do feel like if it's not working, and I think even before the Sevilla goal at 1-1, it's like
just change something.
Just make a change, just freshen up the team. In fact, Sevilla made the changes first, freshen up the team, and then substitute scored the goal. Now, maybe if Oli did that, and obviously you don't want to obviously take off your best players, but there are players in that. There are players like Greenwood. You didn't have to play the whole 90 minutes if you weren't working for him. You could freshen him up, bring on someone else. You know what I mean? But it's like because those players. But you know what? The problem is because the players played so well for the last 10 games. It's like you want to trust them to see it over the line. But the same thing happened in the last 4 games of the season, Southampton, where things are just slowly like you trust them a bit too much. You have to say, right, cool, 70 minutes not working. Let's change it up now. Mata was brilliant. Mata was brilliant last week. He changed the game. You know, I feel like he should have just come on a bit earlier on. You know what I mean?
What was that for?
One Mata.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like someone like that. That could have been just a bit earlier, the 70th minute, maybe before Sevilla scored, to help you lot score the goal, then just see it out. But it's very reactionary.
I think on the bench, we don't have the quality on the bench that matches the first 11.
Yeah.
None of the players, other than Matic and Bailly, match any player in the first 11. But Rashford wasn't having a great game. Clearly, as we said, we miss all these chances. So the strikers weren't clinical. But even if you bring on a player who is worse in quality, they can still do something different. And that night might be. Look at Choupo-Moting. Choupo-Moting comes off the bench for PSG. He's probably their worst striker in ability, but he's the match winner because it's just something different. You bring on Igalo a bit earlier, maybe he's on the end of a cross. You bring on. I know he brought on Fosu Mensah, he brought on Mata, and he brought on.
He'd at least get a chance.
He didn't bring on.
He can take it.
He didn't bring on Lingard, but he brought on Mata. And I'm like, you bring them on and something might happen. What are you saying, Tom?
Like you bring him on and you at least have one chance. And you know, because none of the other attackers really took the chances, so you might as well take a gamble on somebody else taking at least one chance. Even if it's just a header or it's a shot from 20, 30 yards. It's a chance at the end of the day. It can go in the back of the net.
You can't say, oh yeah, Igalo's a better finisher or a better striker than Martial, but it's a game of football. If he gets
exactly,
he just might score it.
And I think you have to credit Oli in terms of 3 semi-finals this year ain't bad, but you look back on it and you say you've lost the chance to get to 3 finals. You know what I mean? And then it's like, then you look at it, does he have the pedigree to get over the line? And it's like, is he got that quality?
Until he does it, the question mark is always going to be there, and rightly so.
Yeah, and it's like, as you said, for Arteta, it's like that weight is not off his shoulder. Arteta can go next season and not win a trophy and still feel like, you know what I mean? I can work with this if other targets are achieved. Whereas United, don't get me wrong, the target of the season was top 4. That's the target. Anything else is a bonus. But when you look at the season, you say 3 semi-finals, a trophy would have just, you know what I mean, just would have just settled it. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, going into next year, there's only 4 trophies available. If you take the Champions League as a huge bonus if you win it, you're looking at 3 trophies. And in the Premier League, like look at the team in the Premier League, it's Man City and Liverpool. So then you can
2 trophies.
2 trophies. Get rolled out 2 of them.
Well, if we got knocked out of the Champions League early, Europa League, isn't it?
Europa League thing again. But as you said, like I know you were confident that you were going to win it, but when you get to the last,
no. Let's get it right.
No, at the start, I'm talking about at the start of the season. You're confident. You were the favourites, and Man United, Inter Milan.
No. Inter dropped in. Inter were in the Champions League first.
Yeah,
who was the favourite? Yeah. So what? Yeah. Obviously, at the start of the season, you don't know who's going to drop in it. So you have to just choose a favourite, and then even at the last 32, Man United, Inter Milan, Arsenal, probably 3 favourites. And then you know what I mean. But
what I did say was, I think Sevilla would be the hardest game, even with Inter possibly on the horizon in terms of the final. I feared Sevilla because, I mean, I just rate the La Liga teams a bit more than the Serie A teams. But also, it's the way that they play, the passing and that kind of stuff. But with all of that, like I watched the game and I'm like, you lot are decent. You lot are decent football side. But we should be winning this. I'm watching the game. I'm like, we have actually played well. This is probably, and it's so hard to say because we lost the game, but it's probably our best footballing game, or let's say between the two boxes. So excluding the two penalty areas, in that between the two boxes, it's the best we've played since the end of the first half against Southampton. Because since that second half against Southampton onwards, and all the games, West Ham, Leicester, Copenhagen, Lask, this was our best footballing game in between those two boxes. But Profligate finishing at one end and lazy defending, I'm going to call it, at the other end, that's it's cost us. It's cost us.
Yeah, and you know what is? It's like you could look at Man City yesterday and say they probably suffered from not knowing your best team with Pep, because he changes so much things that you end up choosing the wrong team to start the game. Whereas United, you're so confident that you know who the starting 11 is going to be, is that you don't have a plan B because you just expect the plan A to work and you just trust in plan A so much.
Yeah, there isn't a plan B because he's got no options. That's the thing.
Yeah.
He's got nothing because he don't trust it.
Yeah. But then you have to you have to work with what you got. If you look at Arsenal in the FA Cup, right? They don't have that squad is not Arteta's favourite squad. It's not his first team squad. It's not his wanted squad. But you have to kind of work with what you got to get through. And I think United have enough quality in the squad to get through tonight's game against Sevilla. It's not like you got knocked out by a greater team. You know what I mean? You're probably both on the same sort of wavelength of the edge of Champions League in both leagues. So it's quite an even game. It's just about who can see it through. And as you said, Sevilla made the change and they got the goal. And United didn't. And going into next season, it's a case of now the squad has to get strengthened. Obviously, Sancho coming in, but then you start to think, is Sancho enough? And you look at the goals conceded, and you think, centre back. Is the left back a problem? Is Shaw going to be able to sort it out? And it's a case of you don't need to rebuild. You just need to build from what you got. You know what I mean?
Oh, sorry, 1 second. Tom. So on that case there, in terms of I was just bringing up a screenshot. Man United last 2 games, 46 shots, 21 on target, 2 goals, and both penalties. So 0 goals from open play. If you take away 2 shots for the 2 penalties, that's 44 shots, 19 on target, 0 goals from open play. That's not good enough. It's not good enough. And
it's embarrassing.
It is. You're right. And Solskjaer made some strong statements actually. Just before this game, I don't know if it was in his pre-match.
Yeah, it was in the pre-match.
And he was talking about needing, I think it's like 4 or 5 players, and if anyone we're gonna buy, we're gonna have to spend a lot of money. I think it was a message to the board. I think it was a call to say we need to get some transfers over the line. What do we need? There's a comment here from Kyle 400. He says Williams is not ready to be starting games like this. I mean, in this game we didn't have much choice. Shaw's being out injured. Mensa, I don't know. What do we actually need in the summer if we're gonna avoid a repeat of this kind of performance next season?
By the way, Kike Setien's just been confirmed to be sacked by Barcelona. I'll just put that out there. But anyway, just talk about Man United and stuff. I think it's quite clear what Man United need. The right winger situation needs to be sorted out because Greenwood is not an out-and-out right winger. He's a striker. Let's get one thing right. Yeah, he can play there, but playing there and actually being preferred there is 2 different things. He's not a preferred winger. When he's come through the youth ranks, has he played on the wing? No, he's played through the middle. So I don't really get that. And I think from a tactical perspective, I don't get Ollie, and I'm going to just question it on this. Whenever we have the ball and fullbacks are making overlapping runs, so Wan-Bissaka's making overlapping runs and Williams is, we're not using the width. Like Rashford's coming in field and he's got Brandon Williams there on the left-hand side. He doesn't use him. He always plays it in the middle to Pogba or Fernandes. It's so obvious that Man United create the chances from there.
Well, are our fullbacks good enough to make those chances? Because I've seen in the last few games in the Premier League that I think it was Crystal Palace we played, and they just allowed Wan-Bissaka the freedom of or Selhurst Park really, and I think he created maybe one chance really in the whole game. Brandon Williams doesn't seem like the same threat going forward, especially on the left hand side because he's right forward as someone who's like Luke
But
Shaw.
by Sevilla's last part tonight, go on by him.
Mm.
You know, he would just been ripping it down in that first half. You know, putting balls in the box and everything, causing problems. That's what a left back does. A left back needs, a left back. Both your fullbacks need to be. The modern game is you need to be solid defensively, you need to be solid going forward. Back in the day and everything, where it were like 1990s and stuff, early 2000s, it was you just had to be, you're a fullback, you're a defender. Now it's different because you're looking at all these other teams around Europe and everything. Fullbacks are going forward. It's a new tactic. You can play overlaps. You can do do all these things, get balls into the box and everything from people. But I don't see why Man United aren't trusting it. And like you said, it might just be because they haven't got that quality of a ball in them. Well, then it's something that you've got to go and improve, go and buy some players. What I don't understand is how long's the window been open now? What, a couple of weeks? How have they not even signed one player? Yeah, I know they're concentrating on this Sancho deal and everything, but come on, it's not just that one position.
And that's
he's not going to change your fortunes.
That's the fair then, because the way that it's gone, if we were to get Sancho, it might be the only signing. But of course, if we don't get him, the question is, who are we looking at? What are the other options? What are we actually out there to get? Solskjaer obviously said that we need a number of players, so he's obviously given his list to Ed Woodward, to Matt Judge, and they've passed it on to Joe Glazer and whoever it might be. But I fear whether or not we're going to get the number of players or the actual players, because it's more than numbers, it's more about quality. We've got a very big squad. The quality is just not in the squad. We can bring on Phil Jones, all in his back. Andres Pereira. The numbers are there. The quality isn't. So it's not just about getting 4 and 5 players just to fill the squad. It's about getting 4 or 5 quality players, which I can't see us doing in this window.
No.
I think in reality, if we get 2 top quality players, I'm talking Sancho and another, then I think that's realistic for this window. Anything more than that,
you're being very ambitious there, because I don't even wouldn't surprise Man United did Tottenham and don't even buy anybody, because but I think it's just suicidal really. Focusing on one player and one deal. Yeah, the window's still open for another 2 months, but you look at say clubs like Arsenal, everything. They've just signed Willian on a free transfer. And then you're hearing everything, they're talking to Atletico Madrid about Partey, they're talking to, who else would be interesting? I can't remember the player anyway. Marquez, Gabriel, that's
Gabriel?
His name. Yeah, Gabriel, that's his name.
To be fair, I think a few teams are interested in Gabriel.
Talking about like three players at one time, so they're not doing one deal. And I don't get it with Man United, because every time we sign the biggest player that we want to sign, last summer, the biggest player that we wanted to sign was Harry Maguire. But we didn't sign him until he was the last player that we signed. Jadon Sancho, exactly the same this time. The last player that we're going to sign. Exactly the same with other players that we've bought in the past. We always sign the main player that we want at the end. And I don't get how that is or why that is. Because Jadon Sancho coming into this team would improve Manchester United, would improve any team, goes to Arsenal, Bayern Munich, anybody. But it's not enough. There has to be more. Because, Man United talk about getting back to the top and challenging for the Premier League and being this dominant force in Europe again and everything, challenging for the Champions League and everything. You can't do it with a load of crap players, can you? Let's be honest. Did you look at Klopp at Liverpool when he went in there? He's starting 11. Not even one player in that starting 11 is still at Liverpool now in the first team. And he's been there 4 years. Yeah, I know people say these things take time. But it's just a joke. Yeah, go on.
The clear out needs to happen as well. If you start that season and you still got people like Phil Jones and Rojo or Smalling and they're lingering around, and Lingard, no pun intended. Then like not saying if you want to use them, but if they're just going to be there just to linger around, then you need to just get them off the wage bill and get new players in. the thing I think with the Sancho deal was that I feel like Man United thought they could do this early, like season finish, let's go for Sancho and get it. But then
Not happening.
it sounds like there's Dortmund want more money than originally agreed for, knowing how much Man United want him, and it's made it even longer on. But and obviously the deadline was originally the 10th of August, so it should have been done by then. And now, as you said, the longer it goes on, the more you think, is this still actually going to happen?
It's not. It's not going to happen.
It's making people think the other way now, isn't it? As you said,
There's like a 75% chance it won't happen, and the only 25% chance is if Man United stump up the cash, which is very unlikely that's going to happen.
Yeah, but Dortmund know how to do it. They know how to sell their players for a high price. And look at the ones that they've sold in the past. If you don't meet what they ask for, they will hold out until you pay that money. And obviously, because it's such a high price, obviously United are trying to break it down as you should. I guess everyone should negotiate. But as you said, if United don't get the Sancho deal done by the end of the transfer window, it doesn't look like a good window for me. Unless you really, really pull out the bag someone else on that level. I see BT Sport talking after the game about they may even need another striker, not to necessarily replace Martial, but for competition.
Oh, but no, I don't even disagree with that, because for whatever reason, tonight we needed goals, and he didn't bring on Igalo until very, very late. So for whatever the reason, he doesn't trust Igalo to be the man to get us the goal.
Especially in a big game.
So whether it's an issue with Solskjaer and his management or the ability of Igalo, I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, we definitely need a better backup than Igalo. Added to that, he was like a last minute, just grab something at the end of the window. It was never supposed to be a first choice kind of thing. His deal ends in January. So one way or another, we're going to have to get another backup striker. Or we're going to have to. We're going to have to, because even if we were to get in a Sancho, I still feel we need another backup forward at least. Because if you say Greenwood is then going to be an option, to replace Marshall as striker, we still need another forward. Lingard and Pereira, apparently they're supposed to be going. It's just not enough. It's really just not enough. Rodney says Sancho is going to Manchester United. I can feel it. Listen, you feel it more than me in it, because the way this thing is dragging out, Dortmund seem like they're just holding it down. And maybe Dortmund are trying, I don't know, are they trying to turn a corner and say we want to actually compete in Europe and try and win the Bundesliga by actually keeping our players? I don't know. Or is it just a case of pay us 120 million and we'll get the player? I really don't know. He's got 2 years left on his contract, so there's no pressure to sell. In terms of the Europa League, obviously Man United out, Sevilla's into the final. The next semi-final is Shakhtar versus Inter Milan. I mean, I might watch it. Probably not, if I'm going to be completely honest. I actually haven't watched any other game in Europe unless the English team have been playing. So don't say Europe, so in the Europa League. I really don't care like that. I really don't care. So I don't think I'll watch. I watched the final. It's a final, innit? So I'm not sure if I'll watch tomorrow. But what do you think is going to happen tomorrow, Tom?
I can only, well, obviously all the cards are pointing towards Inter Milan, really. Inter Milan versus Sevilla, that's the final. Shakhtar, they played well against Basel, but Basel aren't really any real threat, either to such as a club like Shakhtar. You'd expect Shakhtar or Basel, either one of them, to win. So I just think, Conte is just going to get over that hurdle of get into the final, and then it's a case of a match-up between Sevilla and Inter Milan, which is a good game to really watch, which the United game was really to watch, but it didn't really go in favour of Man United fans. But, that's football at the end of the day, isn't it?
Ramsey.
Listen, after this week, you can't. I don't even know how you can call it, man. This week has been just showing you that, especially in a one-game knockout, anything can happen, man. So I wouldn't put it past tomorrow going into extra time or even penalties, just because it's. I don't think Inter have been great themselves. Lukaku's got kind of gets a goal every game, so he's probably likely to get one. But there's not been they've not like rampaged and destroyed everyone. So you know, for me, I'd probably pip Inter to go through maybe an extra time or on penalties, but I wouldn't even be surprised if we see a Shakhtar Sevilla final on Friday. Just the game that it's one game knockout. It's mad. It's like a World Cup. So like not always the best team wins the whole competition, because that's why the Champions League is the Champions League. You have to beat everyone over two legs. I feel like if United played Sevilla at home now, 2-1 down, they could go through, but competition ain't where it is at the moment. So, I think Inter will go through, but I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, that's the thing with this the new one-legged format kind of thing. And I said from the outset, the one-legged format favors the underdog, because like we get in the FA Cup, you get one leg, and that's why you get upsets, because it's 190 minutes. If you give your all in those 90 minutes, you can edge it. And the bigger side doesn't have the opportunity to say, you know what, we messed up first time, we're going to go 100%, 110% and finish off in the second leg. So it definitely favors the underdog. So yeah, based on everything that's happened this week, you can't rule out Shakhtar. It would be foolish to rule out anyone based on what we've seen in Europe this week. But I think, yeah, logic says Inter should be facing Sevilla in the final. On that point from Rodney, Sanchez and Young lift the trophy after all of that was said about them. I mean, add Lukaku to that. Personally, I got no issue with Ashley Young. I'll be happy for him, if I'm honest, to win the Europa League. I got no issue with him. Sanchez and Lukaku, I have an issue with. I have a big issue with them because their exit from Manchester United, whilst they were still Man United players, wasn't harmonious. So I've got an issue with them. But I mean, we're out of competition. Whatever happens ain't gonna affect us as a club. If Inter win it, it doesn't mean we're now gonna go and sign Sancho. If Sevilla win it, we're not gonna sign him. It makes no difference. We're all gonna be in the Champions League next year. Maybe that might, they have a bit of having a trophy behind them. But other than that, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. As I said, it's the Europa League. You want to win it when your team gets late into it. The main aim, of course, of Champions League was achieved. But as Ramsey said earlier, 3 semi-finals, and that can't be glossed over. You get to 3 semi-finals. And
First ever English team to lose 3 semi-finals.
Say that again?
First ever English team to lose 3 semi-finals in one season.
Yeah. So you go to 3 semi-finals in one season, you lose. You have to question whether it's the quality, the mentality, whatever it might be. Why are we failing to get over the line? 3 different levels of opposition in Man City, Chelsea, and Sevilla. But yeah, questions have to be answered from everyone: the players, the managers, the coaches, and the board. You're gonna say something, Ramsey?
No, that was it. I'm saying this is the competition where you are now. The Man City, the Chelsea, and Sevilla is what you face in the semi-final. That's who you're gonna get. So if you can't get past those teams, you're never gonna win a trophy.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's the level. You can't expect the easy draw all the time. I don't think you will, but you are. But I mean, in all 3 games, there's got to be a competitiveness to get through, or a willingness to get through. I didn't really see it in either of them, really. Like Man City is obviously the harder of the 3, but there wasn't like this real fighter desire to go and strive to win every single one of the trophies. And I think, yeah,
you're right, because obviously the Man City one, it's a League Cup. I can't remember the teams we put out for both of the games, but it was a game that we were the underdog for. The Chelsea game, we made mass changes because of, obviously, it was in the middle of a lot of the Premier League games, and the aim was top 3. So yeah, you can think, were we going flat out to win that game? And then in this game, we definitely went out for it. Like we were the team that went out there and the way that we played. But again, it wasn't the priority. Does that have any bearing on some of the players? I hope not. Yeah. I hope, because as players, you should want to win a trophy for yourself and the team. That should always be a target for any player, to go and win a trophy. And a European trophy at that. It's still a European trophy. That's the level that you're in because of what happened in the previous season. So you can't be turning your nose up at it, we're not good in this, we're too good for this. You're not too good for it. You're in it and you got knocked out. So it shows that you're not too good for it, innit? So is what it is. English teams out of Europe, none making the semi-final stage. Maybe it's a come back down to earth from last season, where we had 2 English teams in both, well, 4 in total, 2 in both European finals, and maybe they just need to go back to the drawing board and say, where are we actually going as a Premier League? Are we really going to seize the moment? Because I think this is the moment for a league to dominate Europe. Spain ain't where it was. La Liga ain't where it is. So for me, it's between Premier League, between all the Bundesliga.
See, with that, we need 2-legged ties back, boy, because it seems like 1-legged tie ain't good for us.
Must be that. Before we wrap up, a question there from Rodney. Unrelated, but Ramsey, are you going to talk about Raul leaving Arsenal in any of the coming videos? Arsenal have been moving mad lately.
Yeah, I've been away this week. I haven't had much signal, but I'm due to upload a video tomorrow on the ongoings on of Raul and Willian, and maybe even Aubameyang.
Yeah, he could be signing his new contract with Arsenal, which would be a massive boost going into next season. Guys, that's it from the English teams in Europe, to be honest. I mean, I guess I'll do a match review for the semi-finals and the final, maybe. But the English teams are all gone. I mean, there's nothing. It's just a transfer window. It's a transfer window English teams to focus on going forward. It's been a bad season for English football in Europe. They have to really look at themselves and go again next season.
Are Man United playing game week 1 in the Premier League?
I think they would now. I mean, it's only a week difference between now and the final. Yeah, I think they will. But yeah, the new season starts in less than a month, actually. Less than a month. 12th of September. So interesting summer. And we will see what the English teams, Man United, Arsenal, and the rest can do over the next 3-4 weeks before the Premier League season restarts. Guys, hit the like, share, and subscribe button, and I'll see you lot soon.